Hey, it's Sam. Welcome back to the channel, and I'm excited that you're here. So, the purpose of my channel is to help real estate agents organize and optimize their database so they have the life that they really want. They got more time to spend with family, and they can close more deals a little easier. And I trust that this channel will bring you some value. So, today we're going to talk about the lesson about goal planning that I learned about goal planning and achievement. See, systems make your goal inevitable, and planning doesn't mean it'll happen, neither will writing the goal down. And like James Clear says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And I don't think that could be more true. See, it was years back when I left a major team a few years back, and I was looking for answers. I felt very frustrated with just feeling like a cog in a wheel to a team leader, splitting my paycheck and learning some things, but realizing that I wanted to build something for myself. I wanted to build an asset. I wanted to build my database, and I wanted to put a really good focus on that. Felt like I was building someone else's dream, and I felt like I was, like I said, on a hamster wheel, just for the false promise of leads and maybe being around Robin, and not really knowing where my next pay is going to come, and feeling like I'm still working for an employer. It's ironic that we get into this business for freedom, and we ended up trading our time for the promise of leads and splitting half our money to a team leader that we don't really see what they're doing to actually help us move forward. Now, I knew that this was for me. I knew that I wanted to create something big. And so what I ended up doing, I ended up leaving the team years ago. And I remember writing a goal down of 250,000. And at that time, I didn't really know how I was going to achieve that goal, but I did notice a few things. I know that if I created the goal, that's one aspect of it. But now I need to create the system that's going to help inform the activities of the goal to make that inevitable. And the system is going to support my goal to do the right activities, to make the right decisions, and to filter out the distractions. I know how Dan Sullivan talks about an impact filter, and an impact filter meaning that you filter out all the things that are not important and you focus on only those things that are important. And I feel like goals do that because when where your attention goes, your intention will follow. And I do think that if you are coming from that aspect of creating a goal, not just writing the goal down, but actually creating a solid system around new activities that will inform a new way of being so you can achieve that goal, I think that's where the magic is. And this, again, was before AI and before any of that stuff. And it was a bit of a risk. When I left the team, there was promise of admin work and promise of this, that, and the other. But a lot of the agents that I work with, that I coach and help with their database and help them get their database up to where they feel it's a great asset, that they don't rely on a team leader for leads, and they can actually close more deals on their own and not have to pay a team leader. We created a map for this goal. What I learned here is a few things, and I'll share with you my lessons in a moment, but the goals inform the activities, and I had to revisit that goal to help reinform the activities constantly. I had to make sure that my systems were going to allow me to become that person who can do the activities to then have the result. And ultimately that year I did achieve the $250,000, which was an incredible feat for me at the time. And what I also learned is that the right systems will save me time, make me more efficient, and that the limitation will actually force creativity. Because when I had the limitation of not having ad spend and hours of cold calls and having a new young family, I had to make that work. I had to make my database work. I had to make it an asset. I had to really dig deep into those conversations, and I had to make the connections so then I can truly unveil my superpower and help bring that to you. So you can really uncover those. Let's say you have 300 people in your database. They have 200 people inside each person that they might know that you can get a referral from. So building a great business is about a great system, and it's about informing the right activities. It's about eliminating decision-making fatigue so you can go out and do the things that you need to do. And at that time, we had called it a 1-3-5. And really what it was is you have your main goal, your 3 priorities, and your 5 strategies to each priority. But ultimately, that's a system because you're creating, whether it's a marketing or prospecting plan, you have to stick to a system. And the reason that the goals are important, in my opinion, but the system is also very important because the goal is one thing. Everybody talks about goal setting, goal setting, goal setting. But if you don't have the right systems, you won't follow the right goals. So I can give you an example again. Let's say your goal is to get really, really fit. and you don't have a way to get to your gym, and you don't have your shoes out in the morning, and you don't give yourself time, or you don't have built-in accountability, you won't hit those goals. Revisiting that, I reviewed those goals relentlessly. I was able to achieve that $250,000 as an agent, but also I learned how to work smarter in the process and to use the goal as a filter to inform the right activities so I can go ahead and do what I needed to do. Now, what were the lessons that I took away from this? Well, I had to zoom out, and it allowed me, when I'm working in the business, to zoom out and look at who do I have to become and what kind of systems do I have to build in order to achieve that goal, and the activities that would be conducive to that. Also eliminating the things that are not going to work and that are going to take me away from the goal, because honestly, usually it's also what you're not doing to achieve the goal. So removing the things that aren't working so you can go ahead and achieve that goal. I stopped relying on more leads and blindly trusting the system of a team leader promising more leads, or you having to pay a split for this. Really was a blind trust, because I was going ahead and putting all my effort into something that I really knew that in my database already there was a lot of potential business. And if I learn how to work that properly, I can build my own asset and have a great business without splitting my paycheck and being on a team. So that's ultimately what I did. I stopped relying on more leads. I started understanding that going deeper is more important, and not chasing a shiny object. Like I said, accomplished the goal with no ad spend. I learned that you didn't have to spend money on billboards, ads, and all these other things, and ultimately distractions or sabotage patterns to keep us distracted and having shiny object to go from one thing to another. I always tell my students or people that I'm working with, I say, we got to fix the water tower. We got to fix that leaky water tower, because if you're getting leads in and things are spilling out the other side, you're not really going to get the business that you want. And also, it's going to make it a lot harder for you. In addition to that, I also think that if you are putting your things out there and you are doing the right activities when you feel like it, the system is going to force you to do the right activities all the time and be consistent. And that's where I think that everybody knows how to get fit, but not everybody is fit. So having accountability, having a coach, paying for speed, having a blueprint, I do believe those are all powerful, and I've invested in those things myself. The other thing I learned is playing the long game, right? I didn't just show up for a new lead. I learned how systems worked inside of a team and how to create that and build systems and a great business for myself that works mainly on repeat and referral. And that's not just a blind system that we just hope for a repeat and referral or a lead. We're actually systematically working the system and getting great repeat and referral business, and also servicing the business from there while we keep the people warm in our world and actually enjoy servicing them and having great relationships with them. So again, those are some of the lessons that I've learned. I'd like to hear from you if you are on a team, if you are exploring getting on your own. I'd like you to comment below whether you have questions. I'm going to make sure I include some resources in the video. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.